Many years ago, in the town of Idoma Kingdom, there lived a young man named Leo. He was a skilled medical doctor who both lived and worked in Idoma. Known as the best doctor in town, Leo earned the respect of everyone due to his dedication and passion for healing the sick. His kindness was legendary. Leo often treated the less privileged without accepting payment. The poor adored him, as they saw his genuine understanding of their struggles. Whenever someone from a struggling background came to Leo for treatment, he would smile warmly and say, "Don't worry about paying me. I know times are hard, and I will treat you for free." His compassion wasn't limited to the poor. Even the wealthy citizens of Idoma admired him. They respected his work ethic and generosity, often showering him with gifts such as farm produce, money, and even land. This made Leo one of the wealthiest people in Idoma, attracting the attention of many women in town. Despite his popularity and success, Leo remained single for a long time. His work at the hospital consumed most of his time, leaving little room for romance. That was until he met Ene. Ene had recently completed her youth service and started working as a cashier at a bank in Idoma. One day, Leo entered the bank for a transaction, and Ene was assigned to attend to him. As she processed his request, she noticed how everyone in the banking hall greeted Leo warmly. Men and women from all walks of life stopped to shake his hand and express their gratitude, many even mentioning how he had treated them for free. Listening to their praises, Ene realized that Leo wasn't just a doctor but a deeply compassionate man. She found herself intrigued and hoped he would strike up a conversation with her. Leo was tall, broad-shouldered, and had a rich, chocolate-toned complexion that made him irresistibly handsome. His deep, soothing voice and impeccable manners only added to his charm. Ene, who was light-skinned and slender with sparkling eyes and a calming voice, caught Leo's attention too. Though he wasn't one to flirt, he couldn't resist starting a conversation with her. "My name is Dr. Leo, but you can call me Dr. L," he said, flashing a warm smile. "I come to this bank regularly, but I haven't seen you here before." "What's your name?" Blushing slightly, Ene replied, "I'm Ene. I just started working here last week, which is probably why you haven't seen me before." As they chatted, the connection between them became undeniable, drawing the attention of everyone in the banking hall, including the bank manager, Mrs. Becky. Mrs. Becky approached them with a knowing smile and said, "Dr. Leo, I've never seen you talk to a woman like this before. You're always so focused on your work. Ene must be someone special." Then, turning to Ene, she added, "Count yourself lucky. Every single lady in Idoma has tried their luck with Dr. Leo, but none of them succeeded." Ene couldn't believe what she'd just heard. While she admired Leo's kind and respectful demeanor, she hadn't assumed he was single. Her interest in him grew even more. Before leaving, Leo asked Ene to join him for dinner later that evening. Though she tried to appear calm, Ene was thrilled and agreed. She spent the rest of the day anticipating the date, and when evening came, she dressed in her best outfit and headed to the restaurant. Leo had arranged a special table for their dinner, complete with elegant decorations. Over the meal, they exchanged stories about their lives, laughed, and discovered how much they had in common. By the end of the evening, Leo boldly asked Ene to be his girlfriend. Though slightly surprised by his directness, Ene accepted, marking the beginning of a beautiful relationship. As their relationship blossomed, they discovered they were both virgins and intended to remain so until marriage. They decided to marry in 6 months, using the time to deepen their bond and prepare for their life together. However, as Ene was shopping for a wedding gown one day, she ran into her ex-boyfriend, Mark. Mark, who had pressured Annie for intimacy during their university days, was furious upon learning of her upcoming marriage. He tricked her into his house under the guise of helping her find a gown, only to assault her. Devastated, Annie tearfully confessed the incident to Leo, who was enraged and demanded to confront Mark. Annie, fearing for Leo's safety and sanity, refused to tell him where Mark lived. Her reluctance only deepened Leo's anger and suspicion, leaving their once perfect relationship hanging by a thread. Dr. Leo, unable to contain his frustration and heartbreak, paced the room, his fists clenched. Annie, you're protecting him. Why? After what he did to you, he doesn't deserve to walk free. Annie, tears streaming down her face, pleaded, Dr. Leo, I'm not protecting him. I'm protecting you. I can't bear the thought of you getting into trouble because of me. I love you too much to let that happen. Dr. Leo sat down again, his mind racing with emotions. He loved Annie deeply, but the thought of someone violating her and taking away something the both cherished shattered him. After a few moments of silence, Dr. Leo finally spoke, his voice heavy with emotion. Annie, you mean everything to me. What happened to you is not your fault, and I will never stop loving you. But I need time to process this, to think about what to do next. I can't pretend that this hasn't shaken me to my core. Annie nodded, understanding the weight of the situation. Take all the time you need, Dr. Leo. I'll wait for you. Days turned into weeks, and during that time, Dr. Leo wrestled with his emotions. He sought advice from trusted friends and even spent time praying and reflecting on the situation. He knew that his love for Annie hadn't wavered, but the scars of what had happened made it difficult for him to move forward. Dr. Leo made up his mind. The wedding was called off. Unable to bear the pitying looks and whispers of the villagers, he packed his belongings and moved to another community far from Ubolo. In the bustling town of Ubolo, Dr. Leo started afresh. He opened a new clinic, throwing himself into his work. But the bitterness of his past festered within him, transforming the kind and principled doctor into a man consumed by anger and despair. At first, his new community welcomed him with open arms. His reputation as a skilled doctor quickly spread, and patients flocked to his clinic. But underneath the facade of professionalism, Dr. Leo's soul was unraveling. The pain he refused to confront manifested in destructive ways. Dr. Leo thought to himself that life had cheated him by letting his ex-fiancée Annie to get violated, and he decided to console himself by having his way with all the virgins in Ubolo village. Leo's mind was so traumatized by what happened to Annie, and he now became obsessed with the virgin girls every time a young girl comes to his hospital. It began subtly, a lingering touch on a patient's hand, a compliment that carried undertones of something inappropriate. Gradually, Dr. Leo's behavior escalated. Any woman who came to his clinic became a target for his misplaced rage and twisted attempts at control. He would first ask his patients, mostly young girls, if they are virgins, and as soon as they said yes, he would rape them right inside his office and threatened never to tell anybody. He usually tells his victims that if they tried telling anybody, that he will kill them. He justified his actions as a way of reclaiming what he had lost, convincing himself that the world owed him something. One day, Ochenya, a young seamstress, visited his clinic for a routine checkup. She was wary of the rumors she'd heard about the doctor defiling young virgins in the community, but decided to give him the benefit of the doubt. During the consultation, Dr. Leo's intentions became clear. He locked the door and approached her with a predatory gleam in his eyes. "Doctor, what are you doing?" Ochenya asked, her voice trembling. "Relax, my dear," Dr. Leo said, his tone sickeningly sweet. "I just want to make sure you're comfortable." Ochenya's heart raced, but she kept her composure. "I need to leave now," she said firmly, edging toward the door. "Not so fast," Dr. Leo said, blocking her path. But Ochenya was prepared. She had hidden a small camera in her bag, recording the entire interaction. Realizing she was in danger, she managed to distract him and darted out of the room, leaving behind her belongings. That evening, Ochenya took the footage to the community head, Chief Onoja. The elders convened an emergency meeting, and the evidence was played before them. The room fell silent as the gravity of Dr. Leo's actions became apparent. "This is unacceptable," Chief Onoja roared. Dr. Leo, you were brought here to heal, not to harm." The following morning, a crowd gathered outside Dr. Leo's clinic. The elders, accompanied by local security, confronted him. "You have brought shame to this community," Chief Onoja declared. "As of today, you are stripped of your right to practice here. Pack your things and leave." Dr. Leo's protests fell on deaf ears. The once respected doctor was now a pariah, driven out of the community he had hoped would be his refuge. As he walked away, burdened by the weight of his actions, Dr. Leo realized that his bitterness had destroyed not only his reputation but also the very essence of who he was. For the first time in years, he allowed himself to cry, not out of self-pity but out of a deep-seated desire for redemption. Months later, Dr. Leo resurfaced in another town, this time as a shadow of his former self. He sought therapy and began to confront the pain that had driven him down such a dark path. Slowly, he started volunteering at a free clinic, dedicating his time to helping the underprivileged. Though the road to redemption was long, Dr. Leo was determined to walk it, one step at a time. The story of Dr. Leo became a cautionary tale, a reminder of how unchecked pain and bitterness can corrupt even the noblest of souls. But it also served as a testament to the power of accountability and the possibility of redemption, no matter how far one has fallen. The end. Thank you for watching. Kindly let us know where you are watching from. Share the video to your loved ones, like and subscribe to my channel.